So, brilliant news. I passed my grade 4 exam, and in what is probably the quickest turnaround in musical history, I sat my exam Monday, which is yesterday, and the exam result came back today. So, just a brief update. So, this was the first time I did an exam with the MTB, which is the Music Teachers Board. I've normally done my other exams with ABRSM, who are one of the more traditional exam boards, and they do only face-to-face exams. I think except for performance exams, which you can record. But this is the first time I've done a full exam. Recorded it on, we did it on Freddie's phone, and then we sent it off yesterday about midday. So super excited that the part has come back. So they sent back a mark sheet, which I've brought up on my iPad. And I'll just go through some of the things that they said that I did good and bad. Now, no matter how good you play a piece, when you sit it on the exam, it's never quite as good because you've got that added pressure behind you. You can still play it well, but you just find those little mistakes and those things, they just get to you that little bit because the exam's there. And in my experience, I found the pieces that I was most happy with were the ones that during the exam maybe I didn't do quite as well as, because I was more interested in not messing up the pieces that I found a little bit harder or maybe wasn't as conversant with. So anyway, so I've got the results here. So overall I got 71 marks out of 100. So on this, 60 marks is a pass and 74 marks gives you a merit. So like my previous exams, I've been sitting between pass and merit, so it's been about the same as ABRSM. 17 out of 20 for the first piece, Sleepy Town Blues, and he said Sleepy Town Blues was atmospheric with a credible tempo and mostly consistent groove. The hands needed improved balance and the melody required increased shape, though the pitches were highly accurate. So Sleepy Town Blues was a piece that I added in, and I took out one of the more technical pieces, actually because I enjoyed it and I want to go into playing more blues and jazz pieces, so I thought it would be a good fit. So yeah, 17 out of 20 for that, which I'm happy with. Moonbeams, which was my second one, and it was the piece that I was actually a lot more confident with, because I've been learning it for longer and I enjoyed it more. I only got 13 out of 24. Initially fluent, though a lapse led to a restart. Always try to keep going if you can. The touch could have been more delicate and colourful to augment the sense of character. So I didn't play it quite as well as I had hoped to have done, but I played the others so well that I didn't want to just repeat the exam and do everything again. You have to do everything at once, so you don't have an opportunity just to repeat that one and redo it. So okay, and the third one, 17 out of 20, was I Hear What You Say. Was spirited, a firmer pulse was needed occasionally, yet the playing was mostly well regulated. So 17 out of 20, I'm happy with that. We got into, so I had to do scales and technical section next. So scales I do on ABRSM, so they give you a lot more scales to learn, and they pick a few of them for the exam, left hand, right hand, hands together. MTB give you, I think it's 5 scales. You have to do all of them hands together, and then they make some of them harmonic, some of them melodic, but you know what you've got to play, so you've just got to play them from memory. So it actually didn't comment on my scales, so I was happy enough. So scales I got 10 out of 13, 10 marks out of 13. The technical exercises, they said needed improved accuracy and fluency, though the touch was firm. Tonality is mostly correct and largely assured in scales and arpeggios, with items executed mainly fluidly. So yeah, happy enough with scales, 10 out of 13 was fine. I found the technical exercises, you get like a sheet of music and it's an exercise that you play from that, but nowhere could I find a demonstration of how it's supposed to sound. So it's like playing a piece of music from a sheet, but never actually hearing that piece of music. So I think if I'd have heard that, I probably could have, but again, I didn't put a lot of effort into it because it's not worth a lot of marks on the exam. So I like enough to pass it, enough to be able to perform it, But yeah, I could have done a little bit more work on that, and maybe got someone to try and play that for me, get it at the right tempo, and see how they wanted it to sound. But you can't win them all. Now the musicianship section is where I dropped some marks that maybe would have pushed me up towards the merit. But it involved clapping and singing, and I cannot sing, and I'm following notes. So they would play a note, and they'd say you've got to sing a third note above that, a perfect fourth, a minor sixth, or whatever above it, and I've kind of got it. I just can't sing, so I just did my best. And I have to repeat a melody. Just did my best, and I'd like any marks from this part as a bonus. I mean, overall, you get listen, you get 8 marks overall. I got 4 out of 8 for that, and the reading skills 3 out of 7. So the reading skills, you have to clap along to a metronome. I have a metronome app. Set the metronome app, off it goes, and I have to clap the note times in along with a piece of music. Now he's basically said I made a valiant effort to keep going in the reading skills, but items often contain significant accuracies. Aiming to harness specific patterns, identifying recurrences will provide a solid foundation. And then for the listening, he put, notwithstanding the need for increased precision, the listening skills are responded to with conviction. Which basically meant that the same as my other pieces, I responded really confidently, but wasn't necessarily singing the right notes. But why I have to sing in this part of the exam is beyond me. I should be able to do it on the piano, but go there. Thank you for sharing your music making, and well done for your result. So that was my first MTB exam. So I will take the comments on board. I will take what they've said. So basically, the playing was really well. The musicianship, the reading and the singing, not so well. So I'll decide for the grade 5. I've got 4 pieces that I've selected that I'm going to start playing. I'll be practicing them, and I probably about 6 months it's going to take me to get through all the pieces, get like to standard. But for grade 4, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to get these exams done because I've got years ahead of me to get them done. I just want to be able to play the piece as well. We'll make a decision nearer the time. You can do a performance exam, which means that you play 1 extra piece. So you do 4 pieces instead of 3, and then they don't make you sing, clap, play scales, or whatever. I'll have to learn them as part of my overall musicianship, but I won't have to perform them. So we'll look at that closer to the time of how we're gonna work that for the next grading. But overall, really happy with it. And as I say, the result came back the next day, and it's broadly in line with what my other exams did. It's all there to work on, and it was never going to be perfect. But I'll put this up on my Facebook page anyway if anyone wants to read how I did. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you, and I'll see you on the next video.